Hey everyone, Jim Branscombe here, back again for another edition of In the Mouth of Cinemadness. This is a sub-series of the Cinematic Void vlog, where I talk about various movies, TV shows, and other forms of media that had a profound impact on me and basically created the DNA that would eventually become Cinematic Void. Now today's movie is a movie that has lots of DNA and lots of movies even today. No, it's not Jurassic Park. I know I'm using DNA a lot, but I am talking about a movie that's relevant to this season that this video is coming out, which is Christmas time, and I'm talking about 1974's Black Christmas, directed by Bob Clark.
Crisp winter nights, sleigh bells, crackling Yule logs. Remember those. Remember them well. After Black Christmas, they'll never be the same again. Black Christmas. If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.
Rated R.
Who, incidentally enough, also directed A Christmas Story, the most popular, or one of the most popular Christmas movies. So yes, Bob Clark made two all-timer Christmas movies in two different genres. It's pretty incredible when you think about it, but today we're only talking about Black Christmas, and the way I came across Black Christmas was thanks to Fangoria magazine. Back in the 90s, I wasn't an avid Fangoria reader. I would, occasionally go to like a Barnes & Noble or Borders or whatever bookstores that do any of those chains. I guess Barnes & Noble's does because the 50% off Criterion sale every July and November.
Have you tried Barnes & Noble? Barnes & Noble. Of course. Of course.
And occasionally I'd pick up either a Dark Side or Fangoria. And I happened to pick one up that was around Christmas time. I forget what year it was, but I remember there was the article that talked about Black Christmas and Christmas Evil. I was intrigued by both movies, but I was more drawn to Black Christmas, and more or less because it was an interview with director Bob Clark, including the influence that Black Christmas had on Halloween. And I just really wanted to go out of my way to see it, and unfortunately none of my local video stores had a copy of it. But through the stroke of a Christmas miracle, my friend Jim DeHaven happened to realize that Black Christmas was playing HBO, and this is back in the day before there was streaming and that kind of stuff, so he did me a favor. He set up his VCR and he taped me a copy of Black Christmas so I could finally watch it.
The following movie is rated R.
And admittedly, even in this form, the movie was really effective. It actually creeped me out, and I thought I was pretty jaded at this point after watching a bunch of insane gore movies and things like that, but no, Black Christmas actually really got to me. It's so unnerving. For those who haven't seen Black Christmas, a weird psychopath breaks into a sorority house who's making all kinds of obscene phone calls, and he starts offing members of the sorority one by one, and people don't kind of realize it's happening until it's way too late. And from that first watch, it was just so apparent how much Black Christmas had an impact on this slasher genre. But it felt a lot classier for some reason. I think a lot of it has to do with the cast. The film stars Olivia Hussey, who I was introduced to, like most kids my age, by having to watch Romeo and Juliet in high school and talking about Shakespeare in English class. Keir Dullea, who I'd eventually kind of rediscover more when I finally saw 2001: A Space Odyssey. Margot Kidder, who I was probably most aware of because I had seen Superman, the Christopher Reeve version, as a kid multiple times. And of course, John Saxon, who I've become very aware of after seeing A Nightmare on Elm Street. And there's just something about the vibe of Black Christmas that's so unnerving, between the weird voices during the obscene phone calls.
You fucking creep!
I'm going to kill you.
Carl Zitter's like really creepy, atmospheric film score that you're just kind of on edge the whole time. And every time I watched it, I've kind of gotten creeped out, even though I know what's going to happen each time. And it's just a power and a testament to this movie. During the DVD boom, a company called Critical Mass put Black Christmas out on DVD for the first time, and I was really excited to get it, except it was just completely bare bones. I think the movie was even in 4:3 instead of like 1:8:5, which is a little disappointing. And I think the only extra was the movie's trailer. But they put out a couple other editions, and they did one that eventually had commentary with director Bob Clark and some special features and interviews with cast and crew. Eventually Anchor Bay and then Shout Factory put out really nice editions of Black Christmas on Blu-ray, and I'm really happy that it's widely available. And just the other night, I went to the Vista Theater and I saw a brand new 35mm print of Black Christmas for its 50th anniversary, and you know what? That movie still creeps the shit out of me. Like, it's just undeniable. Like, every little moment that is just to be unsettling, and there's so many great and creepy sequences, and the camera work is just so top notch. Like, again, I think between Black Christmas and Sergio Martino's Torso, those are the two movies that really, really laid the groundwork for the 80s slasher movement. I know some of you are going to say Psycho and Peeping Tom and things like that. But if you think aesthetically, in tones and set pieces, I think Torso and, of course, Black Christmas are basically the real DNA that led to things like Halloween and then Friday the 13th and that kind of stuff. Like another iconic horror movie that just turned 50 this year, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Black Christmas is just undeniable. It is just one of the best horror movies ever made and might be one of the best movies just ever made. So that's going to wrap up this edition of In the Mouth of Cinemadness. Sound off the comments. Tell me about the first time you saw Black Christmas, and is it a holiday tradition? Do you watch it every December? But now that there's a brand new 4K restoration and theaters can now book through AGFA, the American Genre Film Archive, through Shout Factory, it's nice to see this movie playing so many theaters during Christmas time. And before you ask, no, I have never played Black Christmas as a cinematic void screening. I would like to. It's kind of hard to play in LA around Christmas time, but however, maybe I could do something like Christmas in July. But until next time, see you in the void, and happy holidays.
Ho, 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 shit.